Excuse me, who is this trying to call me with his gadget? Please, before you call me Professor Ouma, you should have a telecommunicative device. My friend, we professors, we do not walk, we locomote. We do not drive problem boxes, yani probox.
To get Professor, bonyeza star 811 star 759 hash. Dial star 811 star 759 hash.
Many thanks for joining us for this edition of Channel 1 Lunchtime News. My name is Edward Kabasa. Our sign language interpreter is Simon Karotha. You can follow this live broadcast on the go on Facebook, KBC Channel 1 TV, on Twitter at KBC Channel 1. This live broadcast is also streaming on YouTube. Welcome to the program. President Uhuru Kenyatta has committed his resolve to the full implementation of international convention and treaties aimed at achieving global nuclear disarmament, which he says must remain a priority for all nations. The president regretted that 5 decades after the 1968 Treaty on Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, an alarming number of nuclear weapons were still in existence.
President Kenyatta has reiterated Kenya's long-standing commitment to the total elimination of nuclear weapons for a safer nuclear-free world.
The full implementation of international conventions and treaties aimed at achieving global nuclear disarmament must therefore remain a priority for all our nations. 5 decades after the 1968 Treaty on non-proliferation of nuclear weapons, an alarming number of nuclear weapons are unfortunately still in existence.
The head of state said the use of nuclear weapons is reprehensible and cannot be justified in any way as it goes against the basic tenets of humanity.
3 months ago, the world marked the 75th anniversary of the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The memory of that morning of August 6, 1945, and the general devastating effects of nuclear weapons on humanity, biodiversity, and the environment reaffirm the global nuclear disarmament and the total elimination of nuclear weapons are the absolute guarantee against the use or threat of use of nuclear weapons.
While commending the progress in the establishment of nuclear weapon-free zones, the president called on nuclear states to join in the universalization of the NPT Treaty and to commit to complete nuclear disarmament.
So we therefore call on the nuclear states to join the universalization of the NPT Treaty and to commit to complete nuclear disarmament. The prospect of total war with the certainty of mutually assured destruction is not a credible stance for our civilization in the 21st century.
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said the Non-Proliferation Treaty remains the cornerstone of the global nuclear disarmament and non-proliferation regime. Guterres expressed concern that some of the programs towards the total elimination of nuclear weapons have either stalled or at risk of backsliding, saying that the world must return to a common path towards nuclear disarmament. Timothy Kipnusu for Channel 1 News.
Let's cross our borders briefly, where US President Donald Trump has been flown to hospital after testing positive for the coronavirus. The White House said the president was fatigued but in good spirits and was taken to hospital as a precautionary measure.
Donald Trump has so far been treated with an experimental drug cocktail injection and the antiviral medication remdesivir after both he and First Lady Melania Trump tested positive for COVID-19. Wearing a face mask and a suit, Trump walked across the White House lawn on Friday afternoon to his helicopter Marine One for the short flight to Walter Reed National Military Medical Center in Washington, D.C.'s suburbs. White House Press Secretary Kinley McNerney said Trump is in good spirit and he has mild symptoms. In exactly 1 month, Trump will face Joe Biden in the presidential elections. Trump's diagnosis has upended his campaign and may also cast doubt on his attempt to get a new Supreme Court judge confirmed before polling day.
And back home, Kenyans have been urged to step up efforts of empowering women to take up leadership positions in the country. A section of women leaders drawn from the Central region has argued that meaningful empowerment of the female folk may be the answer to achieving the elusive two-thirds gender principle. The leaders were speaking in Kiambu County when they donated salon kits to over 100 women and youth groups in the region.
The women leaders, in commending efforts currently being undertaken to uplift Kenyan women, said a lot more still needs to be done.
Nimekuwa salon ya mtu, but since now the daughters of the mountain wame come in between, nimefurahia kwa sasa nitaanza kazi yangu. Sichague kazi za ofisi ziliishanga, sasa kazi za mkono ndo zinasaidia watu.
Mimi kwangu nilikuwa chini kabisa, lakini kwa sasa najisikia cause I will start my business, niende niweke salon kama mimi mwenyewe nijisimamie. Nilikuwa nasimamiwa na mamangu, lakini sasa hivi nitajitahidi na nisimame peke yangu.
The group, which calls itself the Daughters of the Mountain, spoke when they distributed salon items to women drawn from Kiambu County.
They are able now to go full swing, able to release about 100 graduates with these kits. We believe that this is going to impact not only our society, but is going to enhance the economic building of this nation. Because if you empower one person, you've empowered the whole nation.
The organization aims to empower women to become self-reliant and take up leadership positions in the country.
There is this about the Maraga decision, the advice. We cannot sit down. We cannot sit and just wait to be picked. We cannot just sit down. We want to empower these women so that come 2022, they go for elective seats. We want to empower them even with the skills of leadership so that once we go to an election in 2022, they'll be elected in office.
The calls coming even as Parliament faces dissolution for failing to realize the two-thirds gender principle.
And in other matters, Kenyans have been urged to treat animals with dignity as they too have rights. The calls coming as Kenya prepares to join the world in marking this year's World Animal Day, a day set aside to push for rights of animals and their welfare.
Tunajaribu kuwahimisha wakulima au kwanza sana wale wanatumia huu mnyama wa punda, kumtunza vizuri, kumwangalia vizuri, na kwa sababu huu mnyama ni wa maana sana kwake.
As Kenya prepares to mark the World Animal Day, animal rights activists are calling for the protection of animals from cruelty. The group cited what they termed as a historic mistreatment of donkeys.
Kwa maana kazi yangu mimi natumia punda kwa kuchota maji. Nikichota maji huwa ninauza na ninasaidika sana. Napata ufanisi mzuri zaidi kwa hii punda yangu. Kwa hivyo ni manufaa.
The activists spoke in Dunduri, Nyandarua County during a donkey clinic organized to treat and groom the beasts of burden.
Tuko na mradi wa heshimu punda na leo tunasherehekea siku ya wanyama ulimwenguni na tuko na clinic ya punda hapa mahali panaitwa Dunduri, na sababu ya kuchagua hapa ni kwamba punda hapa ni wengi na wakulima wengi wanategemea punda kutoa mazao kwa shamba kupeleka sokoni.
The World Animal Day is an international day of action for animal rights and welfare celebrated annually on October 4th, the feast day of Francis of Assisi, the patron saint of animals.
Residents of Kajiado North claim local communities for long have been sidelined in policy making, hence becoming consumers of outdated development programs. Participating in a forum for women in development, democracy and justice in Rongai, the residents called for more public engagement to give local communities a platform to be part of policy making and agree on priority projects that can directly benefit them instead of the top-bottom development approach.
It is at this public forum where residents of Kajiado North took to task policymakers in the county for ignoring them for long. The locals lamenting that they have been locked out of participating in policy formulation as guaranteed by the Constitution, only to turn consumers of projects and programs not a priority to them. They claim this has been a ploy by leaders who want to create a smokescreen on shoddy projects to avoid being put to task.
Ili tusiwe tukilalamika kwa wakati wote, hata sisi tuweze kuchangia katika maendeleo ambayo itaweza kuendeleza kaunti yetu.
However, leaders present during the meeting urged the public to be responsible in social auditing when elected leaders become reluctant in development programs.
We are ready and willing to support members of the public with any ideas, innovation that they have to help improve governance.
They either called on the county government to engage more youths in development projects and consider them for employment.
Tuliomba pia mambo yetu ya 5% ile tuliko kwa katiba tuwe tunapewa ili tuweze kujisaidia.
They claim the county was leading in teenage pregnancies and those culpable should not be left off the hook.
We have already booked the target group as from 12 years to 18. Whereby we shall be talking to our girls on the dangers of early pregnancies and also giving them moral support that all is not lost. And for those who want to go back to school, we are also mitigating on the same, and where maybe to leave the kids as they go back to school as young mothers.
Suleiman Yeri, Channel 1 News.
You're watching Channel 1 Lunchtime News. We're taking a short break. Don't go anywhere. We still have plenty more news lined up for you.
When the world changed, it made us go back to the simple joys and love the little things even more, like serving up your best, eating together, and sharing more. Now, we'll take nothing for granted and always remember to taste the simple joys. Coca-Cola. Taste the simple joys.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
Do you have any idea what time it is? If it happens again, I'm warning you. You're gonna have a pay cut.
Please, Jorge. Stop insisting. Don't make me feel like I can't be with anybody else.
Just told me himself he wants to marry that woman. And there's no way I'm letting that happen.
In love with Ramon.
Emma, Craven's phone. Hello?
We need to abort right now.
It's too late. It's already been done.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
You got to know when to hold up, know when to fold up. You're in love with a beautiful woman.
In the ring. Tra-la-la-la-la. If I had to do the same again, I would, my friend Fernando.
Baby, can I hold you tonight? On KBC Channel 1.
Kombo, sisi tuwapeleka usaidizi, siwapeleka wewe.
Kweli bwana gavana tumsaidia vizuri, lakini mtoto ni mtoto. Ana hamu ya kusema angalau ni muone baba.
Kwanza pale nilipoingia pale, baba amekaa namna hiyo. Unaona? Ani kama unajiona mwenyewe hivi. Najishangaa mara naangalia juu. Alafu Baba, kumbe ni segari kubwa.
Kwa nini sikupi nafasi ya kwenda kuendeleza haya masomo yako? Join a college, a university.
On the next episode of Behind Closed Doors.
It's 1:15. Thank you very much for keeping us company. This is Channel 1 Lunchtime News. A section of Jubilee leaders is now calling for the resignation of Party Secretary General Raphael Tuju, saying he has been undermining the deputy party leader. The leaders reiterated that they will not be cowed by Tuju, terming him a stranger to the party.
A section of Jubilee legislators allied to the Deputy President William Ruto want the party's Secretary General Raphael Tuju to resign.
Tuju ndiye anatakiwa kama haridhiki na uongozi wa Deputy President atoke, kwa sababu Deputy President tulimchagua. Tuju alipewa. Kwanza tunataka apiganie hiyo kiti tuone kama atapata.
What I want to advise SG, he should be busy with issues of stationery and writing, because that's the work of Secretary General. He is not in the league of His Excellency the Deputy President.
Backing the Deputy President in the ongoing fight, they said he is among those who fought for the creation of the party and was free to visit Jubilee House anytime he wanted.
Kama yeye ndiye namba 2 wa chama hiyo ya Jubilee. Ameinvest vile nilimsikia akisema sana. Hata sisi hiyo ni ofisi yetu. As long as sisi ni member, hiyo ni ofisi yetu na tunatakiwa kwenda ofisi.
In fact, on Monday we will be working from party headquarters Jubilee in Pangani as all elected Jubilee leaders, and we have 8 million plus Jubilee.
Meanwhile, elected leaders in Narok County have called on the locals to coexist harmoniously. Speaking at Nairege and Kare in Narok East, Narok Women Representative Soipan Tuyakudate urged Narok residents to refrain from engaging in divisive politics but strive to create a cohesive society.
Wacha tuzozanie mirengo ya kisiasa, lakini ikifika ni amani ya kaunti ya Narok na kuwapatia wananchi nafasi ya kufanya kazi zao za kuwapeleka mbele, tafadhali tuungane pamoja.
Narok Senator Ledama Olekina, who was present, said he will continue to fight for the rights of the pastoral communities who for long were sidelined.
Miaka mingi sana Kenya hii tumechukuliwa sisi watu wafugaji kama ni wale watu ambaye hawatakiwi kuwa na maendeleo. Maendeleo yote ilikuwa inafuata ile railway line. Lakini kwa miaka yetu ile ambaye nyinyi mumetupa mate yenyu ili tuweze kuwafanyia kazi, tumesema lazima tuwafanyie kazi.
Na alijaribiwa mambo mingi alifanywa, lakini alisimama mpaka akahakikisha there was no county which have lost even a shilling.
Suleiman Yeri, Channel 1 News.
President Uhuru Kenyatta has urged French investors to choose Kenya as their preferred investment destination in Africa and assured them of his government support. Speaking in Paris during a France-Kenya business forum hosted by MEDEF, the largest French business consortium in the world, the president acknowledged the growing number of French businesses setting up base in Nairobi, saying the number had grown from less than 30 to over 100 in under 10 years.
President Kenyatta said his administration is rolling out a cocktail of policy and market reforms that have seen Kenya's ranking in the World Bank Ease of Doing Business Index improve significantly in recent years.
We need to be able to start looking afar. And again, this is something else that me and your president also completely agree upon. Let us not necessarily look at crises just from the problem point of view. A crisis is the basis not just for problem, but it is a basis for opportunity.
At the luncheon attended by top executives of leading French companies, the president said Kenya is keen to continue attracting win-win business partnerships to enable the country to attain its development aspirations.
What we are doing through the use of technology, as I was telling you before, all geared and aimed towards making working with government more transparent. So you get results faster and you get them in a transparent manner.
He said Kenya's economy is open to French investment in sectors such as technology, infrastructure and energy, and cited the recent signing of a 1.3 billion euro agreement for the construction of a highway in Kenya by the private sector as an example of the opportunities available to French companies.
That my government is committed towards rooting out this problem and to ensuring that we have an open, transparent mechanism in which private sector can thrive, not just in Kenya, but in the entire region. So, ladies and gentlemen, Kenya is open for business. I personally must say, exactly as what Mumar and his colleague Nick Nesbitt has said, very happy in the manner in which French companies have begun to aggressively get more and more involved in Kenya.
French President Emmanuel Macron was represented at the business forum by his Minister for Europe and Foreign Affairs, Frank Riester, who rallied French companies to invest more in Kenya, saying the European nation is keen on strengthening its economic ties with Kenya.
Some of our competitors are shying away because of the crisis. This is an opportunity for you. As President Macron said, the French government will support you. We are strengthening our Team France Export in order to secure your positions abroad. And with our 100 billion euros recovery package.
Timothy Kipnusu for Channel 1 News.
Construction works at the Konza Technopolis have resumed in earnest after a break occasioned by the COVID-19 restrictions. Konza Technopolis Chief Executive Officer John Tunui says contractors are now working 24 hours with over 1,000 workers on site in order to recover lost time. The city is expected to unlock the unemployment gridlock in the country heightened by the coronavirus pandemic, and the government has already invested over 100 billion shillings in the project.
ICT and Innovation PS Jerome Ucheng, who joined the MPs for a tour of the Konza city, said the government was satisfied with the progress, citing that phase 1 of the data center, which is now complete, and the second phase was nearly complete.
And we want to confirm that is up and running. Then the phase 2 that we have currently that we are currently on site, we are informed is at 50%, and that we've been informed that by December we'll actually be ready, and by January we can actually say that we can use the main data center.
The smart city roads, sewer and drainage systems are currently being constructed, with the state-of-the-art 8-story tower complete and being utilized for administrative purposes. The Parliamentary ICT Committee, led by its chairperson, William Kipkemoy, said they will give enough budgetary support to the developing the African Silicon Savannah, owing to its massive economic projected impact not only in the country but also in the entire continent.
The government is actually serious, and even Parliament. We cannot put here close to 100 billion and we abandon it. Basically, we will support, and as a committee, we will also team up with the other colleagues to ensure this city is a success.
He said that through interdepartmental consultations, the government will fast-track construction of Thwake Dam to ensure Konza City gets enough water required for its growth. He said so far the government has invested close to 100 billion shillings, indicating the seriousness it was treating the project.
Anti-female genital mutilation crusaders in Migori County have raised concerns over increase of FGM cases, mainly in the Kuria region. The move follows claims that most girls in the Kuria community have already escaped their homes to undergo the cut.
The surge in FGM cases in Migori County have been reported since schools shut down following the coronavirus pandemic in March.
Tohara huagi kuna madhara mingi. Inaweza cause HIV ama ugonjwa wa fistula.
With many young girls missing from their homes, there are now fears that the Birege and Nyabasi clans of the Kuria community are planning to take their girls through the dingy cultural path for the next 2 months in preparation for societal sensibilities.
Sana sana Kuria tohara hufanyika muhula wa Disemba wakati shule zimefungwa. So unapata watoto wengi wamekimbilia kama zile sehemu ambazo huwa zimetengwa. Kuna wale ambao huenda sehemu zile kwa kupenda ili waende wapate mafunzo zaidi waweze kuinteract na wale role model ili wasiende tohara, lakini kuna wale ambao huwa wanalazimishwa na wazazi wao kwamba waende tohara, wanakimbilia sehemu kama ile kwa sababu ya kuokolewa.
Anti-FGM crusaders in the area are blaming parents for refusing to abandon the culture and aiding the archaic practice.
Wazazi, as much as utaenda uwafanyie reconciliation, useme kwamba wakubali kwamba tumepatana, watakubali mbele ya macho yako kwamba tumepatana, wataruhusu msichana akae, but ataendelea kuundergo a lot of stigmatization, hiyo matusi ya kumuita Mosagane na a lot of stigmatization. Kwa hivyo mtoto hata kuwa free, and to some extent unakuta hata ametengwa in terms of education, hata kama ni school fees halipiwi vizuri.
Migori County Commissioner Boaz Cherotich says his officers are on standby and action will be taken to anyone abating the vice which is already outlawed in Kenya.
Hii tunatekeleza tukishirikiana na mashirika mbalimbali pamoja na serikali ya nchi jirani, ili tuwe na kikao ya wazee pamoja na wale security agencies. Na kwa hivyo kama utafikiria utafuka utoroke Tanzania, ama wale wa Tanzania wanafuka kuja pande hii kuja kujificha, tutatumia hii sheria. Na kwa hivyo ukipatikana unafuka ngambo ile ama ngambo hii, na kwa hivyo hii ni nafasi nzuri mjue nyinyi wale ambao mna enforce hii sheria.
Purity Museo, Channel 1 News.
Sports news now. Kenya Rugby Union says that no winner will be declared across the various leagues, with the playoffs remaining to conclude the fixtures. The results up to the last matches will, however, stand. In a statement, KRU said that teams that had been relegated as well will stand relegated, given that their fixtures were completed. With the leagues declared over, the transfer window shall open on Monday, 5th October to 30th November 2020. With regard to the playoff matches for promotion, only players who played in the previous season shall be eligible. Meanwhile, the League and Fixture Committee will come up with possible draft fixtures for the 2021 season. And across our borders, Neymar scored twice as Paris Saint-Germain thrashed Angers 6-1 to move within a point of French Ligue 1 leaders Rennes. The Brazil forward struck either side of the halftime for the three-time defending champions after Alessandro Florenzi had given them an early lead. Ismail Traore replied for the visitors before Julian Draxler made it 4-1, and the late goals by Idrissa Gueye and Kylian Mbappe secured PSG's fourth straight win after losing their first two league games of the season. Neymar's goals were his first of the season after returning from a two-match ban for being sent off in the bad-tempered 1-0 defeat at the hands of Marseille. League leaders Rennes, who remain unbeaten after 5 games, whose second bottom Reims on Sunday. And top seed Simona Halep underlined why she is widely considered the French Open favorite by thrashing American teenager Amanda Anisimova to reach the last 16 at Roland Garros. Romania's Halep, age 29, needed just 54 minutes to win 6-0, 6-1 in Paris. Halep won her first Grand Slam title at Roland Garros in 2018, and the next step towards another is a fourth-round match against Polish teenager Iga Swiatek. Third seed Elina Svitolina also progressed with a straight set victory. The 26-year-old Ukrainian won 6-4, 7-5 in 1 hour 40 minutes against Russia's Ekaterina Alexandrova. And that does it for us for this edition of Channel 1 Lunchtime News. We do thank you very much for staying with us. More news on our website. You can also stay up to date with breaking news on Twitter at KBC Channel 1. On behalf of the team here, that includes my sign language interpreter Simon Karotha, my name is Edward Kabasa. Good afternoon.